Hey there, everybody. PTPOP here with all four lobes of my brain. Nuttier than a fruitcake. Today, I'm going to show you examples, complete, unadulterated examples of how the entire world has lost their freaking mind. Stay attuned, my friend.
Would you like fries with that? Would you like fries with that?
In another video, I said, doesn't it seem like everybody's lost their freaking minds? And, you know, I'm beside myself when I log into TikTok or I log into YouTube and I see these videos where people are teaching you magical ways to live your life. There's magical ways you can look at the world and you can quantum leap into new personalities. If you think nice thoughts, you can get the job you want, you can get the girl you want, you can get anything you want. It's all just about clicking your heels and saying there's no place like home. And the internet is just saturated with this pablum, just absolute pablum. And I gotta tell you, it's disturbing. It's disturbing. So I'm going to start off with this first video. It's called How to Actually Quantum Leap and Change Your Reality. Ooh. Ooh. So let's start off with this. This is from the channel Jill's Urine. She's got 598,000 subscribers. Now, before we get into the video, let's look at Jill's channel. This is Jill's channel now. It says, let me help you become the woman of your dreams. I become the woman of my dreams every morning in the shower. Hi, my friends. My name is Jillian, but you can call me Jills. I'm extremely passionate about all things relating to womanhood and living your best life. I talk about things like feminine energy, self-development, and wellness for women, as well as things like spirituality, mindset, and beauty. After struggling with my health, my femininity, and feeling uninspired and unhappy in life, I dedicated myself to upgrading my reality, owning my worth, and stepping into my best feminine self. Join me for valuable content all about stepping into your power as a woman. Partnership inquiries, Emma at smallscreenmarketing.com. Marketing, imagine that. Here is her video. Here is Jill's video. How to actually quantum leap and change your reality.
Here's the thing. If you can master the concepts I'm talking about in this video, it'll change your life. We're going to be talking about quantum leaping, manifesting, and changing your reality, but in a very practical, easy to understand way. Trust me, I know.
Quantum physics is always an easy thing to understand for the average person. I can tell you, I've got it nailed down pat.
All of that stuff can be a little confusing and feel a little woo-woo, but this video
I feel a little woo-woo.
Or do they teach you to talk like this in some Panama City sailor want a hump bar? Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
video is going to hopefully take the confusion out of it and make it straightforward. And
Now what is quantum physics? Let's do this, okay? Now this is a video.
However,
Quantum mechanics explained in ridiculously simple words. So let's watch what this is quantum mechanics. I don't know if it's the same as quantum physics, but hey, we're just splitting hairs, aren't we?
things are usually straightforward and logical. A car is either at rest or moving. The stereo is either on or off. A cat is either a dead or alive. One state or the other. There is no middle ground or a combination of states. However, the same can't be said about the world on the most fundamental level, on the scale of the most basic particles we're made of. On that scale, a particle doesn't exist in one state or the other, but in a number of states all at once. Like Schrödinger explained, a cat of the fundamental world would not be either dead or alive. It would exist between the two states, both dead and alive.
Okay, my brain is like overwhelmed. So I can't even, well,
This he called superposition, where
I'm in that spot right now. I'm dead or alive. I'm someone's superposition right now.
a particle exists in a combination of states. Strange, right? But this is the strange realm called the quantum world, ruled by quantum physics. It has become quite a popular subject in recent years, and the bulk of credit goes to science fiction. The theories of alternate universes and time travel are certainly keeping us entertained.
Spirituality community, but in practical terms, a quantum leap is basically where you move from one state to another, or one reality to another. And so as it relates to your life, a quantum leap is kind of like a quick level up in your life, or where you feel like you are moving into another or leaping into another reality. Because here's the thing, according to quantum physics, there are many, many different realities that exist or that can exist at the same time.
Oh, I feel an infinite version of me coming on. I've quantum leaped. I've become a different version of myself. Oh, Jills, help me. I've quantum leaped into my other self. I love it, don't you? I love it. I'm so green. I'm green with envy because I'm not Jills.
Versions of you, all these different timelines, they exist at different frequencies. And so if you think about it, your dream self already exists. And so to quantum leap and change your life, you don't necessarily need to create her. You just need to step into her.
I tried to step into a girlfriend once and she said, I'm not kinky.
Consciously deciding to meet her where she's at. So the question is how the heck do you do this, right? Because it sounds so super.
How do you do it? I just did it. Before your very eyes, people.
Supernatural and impossible, and it honestly just sounds a little bit weird, but it's not as difficult as it sounds, and it's not as weird as it sounds. So hear me out. Now, if you're into manifestation, you probably already know this.
I do. I just did it, my friends. I leapt before your very eyes. Boingo, boingo, loves it.
It's
Energy.
getting to
In
be
other words, it's
goddamn
our vibration and
ridiculous.
frequency that matters.
Oh my
this
God.
Concept of
I'm transforming
frequency
back
is
into
incredibly
myself.
important when it comes to
Quantum
leaping.
leaping.
Because if our desired self and our desired reality already exists, but at a
Oh, I'm back to myself. I'm so glad I was gone for a little bit there. I'm sorry. I think we need to introduce Jills to this person.
Shaking and moving. Right now, I feel. What do you feel?
These are women after Trump got elected. So there's a whole bunch of people on here, on the YouTubes and on TikTok that talk about this stuff and talk about what I call magical thinking. And here's a guy, not to pick on just women. How I'm 40. If you're in your 20s or 30s, watch this. Well, I'm not in my 20s or 30s, but I'm in my 50s.
Today is my 40th birthday, and if I could go back to talk to my younger 20-year-old self and give him some advice,
Tell him to drink more wine.
here are 40 things that I would say. Number 1, make sure you are climbing the right mountain.
I climbed the right mountain once, but I had to get a lot of wine in there first.
Too many of us are exhausted because we are doing too little of the things that bring us joy and are chasing someone else's definition of success. This is why it is far better to be climbing slowly up the right mountain than it is to be climbing fast up the wrong mountain.
See, the problem with philosophy like this is you can't go back in time, number one. You can't go back to your younger self and talk to him, because if I could, my life, I think, would be different, but you don't know. Number two, if this message is for younger people, trying to talk sense into a younger person is like trying to teach a raccoon to speak Latin. It's not going to happen. Younger people have their minds made up that they think they know what they're doing, and you can't tell them any different. Saw it with myself. My mother tried to tell me, older people in my family says, hey, just why don't you just chill and just do this and this and this. And I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Focus on direction over speed. You'll find greater enjoyment in the journey. Number 2.
What was that? He puts a dancing zombie man. What is this guy? What is this? That's what you're supposed to aim for in your 20s or 30s, is to be a bald fat guy wearing suspenders dancing in the dark? Oh my God. We're doomed, man. We're doomed. I can't watch this guy.
Now, in this video, I'm going to tell you how buying a pickup truck changed my life.
I'm going to tell you how a pickup truck changed my life because I could bang a lot of white trash women across that bench seat. Yep.
7 years ago, I was just like some of you. I was working a dead-end job, I was broke, and I hated it. And I was stuck in the rat race, and I couldn't get ahead in life. Fast forward 7 years later, I bought my dream truck, I bought a house, and I got my dream boat. And now I'm a business...
So this guy is selling you dreams. He's selling you fantasies. He's selling you bullshit, okay? And he's making it seem as if because he got the boat and the car, the house, that he's happy, okay? And he's going to tell you he got wealthy, living his wildest dreams. And it's all a load, okay? Because that truck comes with a car payment, and that truck comes with insurance. The boats come with insurance. The house comes with insurance and probably a house payment. The house comes with taxes. The house comes with utilities. The house comes with a lot of responsibility that he's not talking about.
Business owner, I'm a business coach, I'm a YouTuber.
Oh, man. Look at this. He's selling a class. He's selling a class, a roadmap to success, 6 weeks personalized coaching. Who knows how much that costs? What happens if I click? Can I click on this?
No. And I'm also an investor.
He's an investor. What did he say he is? I'm an investor.
Coach, I'm a YouTuber, and I'm also an investor. Business owner, I'm a business coach.
I'm a business owner, I'm a business coach, I'm a YouTuber, and I'm a hauling and junk removal guy. I'm like Sanford & Son,
Coach, I'm a YouTuber, and I'm also an investor. So if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah. Anybody can do it, man. If you can do it, I can do it. Because I can walk and talk and chew bubble gum. Adrian, give me my cigars, will you? Yeah, anyone can do it. Any stupid asshole like you watching this video. That's right.
And I'm hoping this video will change one life out there. And if you can relate to this,
I'm just hoping that one person pays for my class over there to make me even richer. While you sit there pulling your pud.
You smash that like button and hit that notification bell so whenever I post a video, you'll be notified. And I never had no business experience besides selling drugs and selling...
What? I never had no business... What did he say?
Besides selling drugs. And I never had no business experience besides selling drugs and selling CDs. And
selling drugs and selling CDs? What the hell's he talking about? This isn't a former drug pusher gone straight to buy himself a truck and a boat? Oh my gosh.
It's getting to be goddamn ridiculous.
In a parking lot. So it doesn't matter if you're an ex-felon, sleeping at your parents' house, or maybe couch surfing and barely getting by. In 2015, I was broke.
So he's talking ex-felons. He's an ex-felon? I don't know, man. Does this guy strike you as being a felon? I don't know. There's something fishy about this. Sonoma Strong hauling and junk removal.
I was homeless. I was fighting through my drug addiction in this world that we call life. It took me hitting rock bottom to finally make that change. So if you're going through it right now, trust me, I've been there plus some. And when you have nothing to lose, the only way you can go is up from there. So ask yourself this, how bad do you want it?
Oh, God, dude, I just can't take listening to you talk anymore. So there's this thing called magical thinking, which is, I believe, a type of neuroses. And this licensed social worker, Patrick Tehan is going to explain it. And it stems from childhood trauma. And there's a lot of people that believe that they're magical. And I think a lot of the people you see on YouTube that say, hey, if you do this, if you do that, you can have a house, you can have a car, you can have a good-looking spouse, you can have 2.56 kids and a Labrador Retriever. If you just think positive thoughts, if you just click your heels 3 times and say there's no place like home. Now, here's what this guy says.
I felt like I caused my mother's terrible feelings. So just FYI, this intro can be a little bit emotional. When I was a kid growing up, and maybe you did some of this stuff too, I felt like I caused my mother's terrible feelings. Or I felt like I caused her drinking. I felt like I caused her reactions and caused her heavy burdened life by not being a good enough kid. And at a very young age, I would think that I would have the power to change her life and make her happy if I was good. It's like a superhero thing. And we lived in this chaotic, ratty house on the block, which I was deeply ashamed of. So another thing I would do is I would often think that the reason that our house was messy or trashy looking or the lawn was messed up was because I wasn't diligent enough to water it, or somehow fix the big patches of dead spots or the holes in the ground. And I also thought that if I could make all of that happen, then I could be the family hero, which actually is really terrible for kids. And underneath how I was thinking about the lawn.
So a lot of magical thinking is, and most of it is egocentric. So if you see everything that I've shown you before, the people I'm making fun of, they are saying that they have complete control over life and their thoughts and their actions control their reality. So if I sit here and think positive that I'm going to win the lottery, I'm going to win the lottery, I'm going to win the lottery. So if I sit here for a week and think my wife and I just sit and meditate on we're going to win the lottery, I'm going to drive down to the local Quickie Mart, buy a lottery ticket, and we're going to win a lottery. They make it seem it's that simple. It's very egocentric, egotistical. It's kind of a neuroses. Now, again, I'm not a licensed social worker or a psychologist, but it's pretty obvious that this is some type of weird magical thinking. And this guy explains it really well.
Like if I could just make the lawn better, it would change my alcoholic or my messy family system. Like it wouldn't be that anymore if the lawn was nice. Another thing I do to give you some insight on how young children developmentally deal with stress is when...
So this is Patrick Tehan, and he is...
Here are 11...
Patrick Tehan he's a licensed social worker, and he provides education on childhood trauma, conduct research, and advocate for healing for childhood trauma. And he says his videos are for educational purposes only. Information provided on this channel is not intended to be a substitute for in-person medical advice. It is not intended to replace the services of a therapist, physician, or other qualified professional, nor does it constitute a therapist, client, physician, or quasi-physician relationship. If you or someone you know is in immediate danger, please call a local emergency telephone number or go to the nearest emergency room immediately. And so I want to let you know about that, but his video comes out.
So just FYI, this intro can be...
And says some pretty clear things about what magical thinking is. And you'll see the ton of these magical videos on YouTube, like the rage rituals. If you just scream, you're going to transmute yourself, feel the empowerment of something going on. But, you know, the rage rituals, all that is doing is releasing endorphins and releasing all kinds of chemicals in your brain that gives you an immediate sense of relief, and then you feel exhausted, and then you feel this calm because it's all kind of like leveled off, and it's only temporary. It's not going to create a permanent change, but they're selling you things to make you think you're going to feel good and give you magical results.
My alcoholic or my messy family system, like it wouldn't be that anymore if the lawn was nice. Another thing I do to give you some insight on how young children developmentally deal with stress is when my mother would drink and drive with us in the car, which was nearly a daily experience for us. My siblings and I, we would hold on to the passenger side door armrest and pretend to steer the car to compensate for my mother crossing into other lanes.
Oh God, how horrifying. My father would do the same thing. My father would intentionally pretend to drive off the road to try to scare my mother. And he'd sit there and laugh. He was a weird fucker.
Like wobbling. We'd magically think that the armrest handle on our 83 Buick Skylark was a joystick, like in a spaceship, and we pretend to have some control, magical way to have some control to deal with the terror. If you can't.
And this is just what I'm talking about. So these people that talk about rage rituals and using physics to transform yourself, you're dealing with a population out there that's traumatized right now. You have a vast majority of people living in the West who are living a life that they don't like. You've got millions upon millions of people who are working at jobs or are out of work or in bad relationships, or they're doing something that is detrimental to their mental and physical well-being, and they're sitting in a room like I am in their house going, how did I get here? Oh my God, all the choices I've made in life. How did I not see the red flags? How did I get here? How did I marry this person? How did I have this kid? How did I get this job? And they're thinking it's all their fault. They're thinking it's all their choices. And now they're taught that if they just change their frame of mind, if you just change your frame of mind, that somehow you're going to magically transport your life into a new life by changing your perspective, by changing your outlook on things. And I can tell you from personal experience, I've been reading positive help and self-help books for 30 years, and it doesn't work. Oftentimes, when you're in a bad physical situation with another person or a group or a job, the only way to deal with it is to get out of that situation. Positive thinking will not transmute or transform you or transport you into a new frame of mind. It will not transport you into a new dimension. And this is what he's talking about. This is how he coped, and this is how I coped as a kid, as I went into a fantasy world.
Can't get a visual on what I'm talking about. Some of those old car doors would have this armrest handle and a thing that you arm there and you hold on to the thing. And anyway, all of those beliefs are examples of magical or superstitious thinking, and I'm giving them in context of myself as a child before puberty, which is where our brain changes to think more abstractly. During and after puberty, the child is now able to really get that the door handle isn't going to save you, that the lawn isn't going to change, or you don't have the power to change your parents' moods.
And there's a lot of people in the world that are grown men and women that are still lost in the fantasy world from their childhood. And they see these self-help gurus on TV, the Wayne Dyers and the Joe Dispenzas and the fruitcakes that I've shown you before, to say if you just sit down and you transmute your thoughts, you transport your thoughts, and you transform your thoughts, you're going to become a new person. You're going to have a new life. It's all going to be better.
Situations, including your own. But there's a big but here. For childhood trauma survivors, the magical thinking usually carries over into our adulthood.
Yes.
And we need to deal with it in our recovery in some way at some point. At the heart of growing up in childhood trauma it's really to experience developmental delays of all kinds. Some of us can be rock stars at our job performance or functioning, but we have a very underdeveloped mastery over conflict and intimacy. Some of us can be profoundly emotionally intelligent, but we have an undeveloped sense in terms of daily functioning or daily.
So let me go on to, he's talking about what is magical thinking. This is what magical thinking is.
Words or use of or joystick thing, or the belief that as a 7-year-old that I should be a qualified landscaper or a contractor, or the belief that as a 5-year-old that I should be able to meet my mother's emotional needs like a therapist would. The belief that my thoughts and actions or words are the only factors in why some of my relationships didn't work. Magical thinking is a big topic, and it covers things going into things like superstition, can get into OCD symptoms, anxiety, catastrophizing, neuroticism, forecasting, disaster. Like if I can't stop thinking about this horrific thing, it's definitely going to happen
today.
Here's 4
examples.
It will go away and resolve.
Here's 4 examples of magical thinking. First one is, if I ignore it, it will go away or resolve without action.
Resolve without action. It's really like blind optimism. This might be the most significant one on the list. When children aren't getting any help with abuse emotions ranging from neglect to physical abuse, a good strategy is to not get slowed down by feeling about the problem or the problem itself. Some examples. A child in the middle of a divorce stops feeling the big feelings about it and pretends it's not real, and the parents will just work it out.
So this is similar to the magical thinking that these people are saying, like, if you just transform your thoughts, you're in a bad relationship, you're in a bad situation, you're looking for your internal feminine, you're trying to get out, you somehow have to detach yourself from the real feeling. The feelings you're feeling are legitimate. If you're unhappy in your life, these are real, legitimate feelings. And trying to change how you look at them is another way of just coping with them and ignoring them.
Another is a neglected child not being prepared for a school assignment and casually comes up with the idea that the teacher will help them with their science project at works. It's not safe to ask the adults questions or in small or big ways. And there's some greater purpose to being with him. There's some greater purpose to I just knew I couldn't be home. Vigilant or obsessed, the older contaminate. And adults can engage magic ruin their experience for them, or to be out of the house the day the king is weak, or vice versa. Them being around you might ruin it for you. The third.
Another thing here that he discusses in magical thinking is clairvoyance, where people believe that they can predict the future, and they feel as if they get hunches about things. And they get gut feelings, and these weird things happen, and they think they're clairvoyant. They can predict what's going to happen before it happens. And a lot of this stems from childhood trauma.
Third one is what I'm simply calling clairvoyance. This one is related to the others, and it's kind of an odd one. The clairvoyant piece to magical thinking is we get confirmation on an anxiety or a fear that comes, if it comes true, and the person now assumes that they can predict such events. What this looks like is like a parent might say, I knew I needed to be out of the house the day the dog got hit by a car out front. I just knew I couldn't be home. A child might hear the parent engage in that kind of level of magical thinking, which is really terrible modeling about reality. I knew your father would be a bad parent, but I knew that there was some greater purpose to being with him. Another example is a child might become.
So a lot of these teachers will say to you, I know your situation is bad at home, but maybe there's a universal reason that you're with this abusive spouse, and maybe you should, soldier it up, suck it up and stay with them, because maybe you're meant for some bigger purpose with this person. Maybe you're meant to save them or help them. And I can tell you this from watching my mother trying to save my father for 28 years. I wasn't there for the whole time, but from what I saw from the age of 3 up until about the age of 14, is my mother threw her life away for a guy that wasn't going to stop drinking. And his life just spiraled out of control, with or without her. And I think she thought, because she was married until death do you part, and all those happy BS things they teach you and the Bible teaches you, she felt like it was her responsibility, and she should have gotten out long before she did.
Really freaked out when they see their own fears and anxieties come true, or in small or big ways. And now they have to deal with the magical thinking is really hedging bets for rescue.
So the basic thing here is you're going to see a lot of things on here on YouTube with all the magical thinking, with people telling you can save your life. Throughout the years, there's been a variety of books written preying upon the vulnerable, and they've made billions upon billions of dollars to try to make you believe that if you think a certain way, you can have anything you want. And there was a guy named Robert Kiyosaki who had a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is basically how to get rich and how to make money. But there's one from the early 2000s called The Secret. And The Secret was a book that I thought, hey, I'll try it. And if you look at this is there's still a website for it. And the great secret of life, and it was promoted as this is going to change your life. This, if you read this book, if you buy this book, if you watch these videos, it's going to change your life. You're going to be able to manifest the life you want because you have the power. Everything is in your control.
Throughout history, all the great minds, all the great leaders, all the great achievers, they had something in common.
So allegedly, all these great thinkers from a century ago used this secret. There's this secret thing that only people like Oingo Boingo and I have that makes us wealthy beyond our wildest dreams. The secret was buried in the pyramids with jungle music. The secret was coveted. Quick editing. Old 16th century clothing, 17th century clothing, 18th century. Spyglasses and maps hidden in the pyramids. The secret was buried. The secret was banned. Oh my God. It was in a scroll, like the Dead Sea Scrolls, that were the leading text to our Bible. It was suppressed. Now, what a mafia guy gets at here in Italy?
And now the great glimmering of truth can be revealed again.
Do you know this?
A genie's lamp. Okay. So they're pushing magic here. They've got a genie in here. They've got suspicion. They're creating intrigue because it was buried. They're insinuating this scroll was buried and discovered in the Great Pyramids, the secret to life. Now it's in a genie's lamp. Come on, guys. I mean, this is exactly what they're pushing today.
Secret gives you everything you want. Happiness, health, and wealth.
See? They're pushing dark, cryptic, evil things here. They're talking about supernatural things here now. They're talking about genies. They're implying genies. And maybe this is just for creative purposes, but if you're a Christian, you believe in Christ, and you read the Bible, this is evil. This is satanistic stuff. They're pushing you away from God, pushing away from Christ, and turning you towards medieval, supernatural things that will help you through life. And why do you think they want you to do that? Because they want to separate us all from God.
You can have, do, or be anything you want.
And it is not true. It is just not true. It is not true. It's not true. It's not true. I'll say it 1,000 times. You can sit there. I don't care what the color of your skin is. If you don't have the athletic ability to play basketball or hockey or be a rock star or any of that stuff, you will never make it. Okay? Especially in athletics. If you don't have the skill or the physical makeup to be an athlete in professional sports, nobody's going to take you. If you're not fast enough, if you can't catch the ball, whatever it happens to be. You can wish upon a star as much as you want, but the chances of you ending up in the Olympics winning a gold medal is slim to none, my friends. That's not being negative. That's the truth. Very few, very, very, very few people ever get to be rock stars or movie stars or TV show hosts and all that stuff. And you have to be well connected, and you have to get past the gatekeepers. You have to be able to play the game.
I've seen many miracles take place in people's lives. Financial miracles, miracles of physical healing, mental healing, healing in relationships.
All of this happened because of knowing how to apply the secret.
Look at that. They're implying this is the same stuff I showed you. If you just think a certain way, act a certain way, you're going to be able to touch yourself in the forehead and heal yourself. Joe Dispenza talks about it, but Joe Dispenza is selling courses and he's selling books. If you watch his videos, he never tells you how to use the quantum field, how to heal yourself. Now, what is any of this? Now, we're a minute and 15 seconds into a 2-minute video, and what has it really shown us? It's just a way to get your blood pumping, to get you to go out and buy their book and watch their movie. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza is a well-known guru online who allegedly healed himself from a severe back and spinal injury after a bicycle accident. He healed himself. Say that again. I can talk good. He healed himself from a severe bicycle accident where he severed his spine or had some severe injuries to his spinal column. I don't think he severed his spine, but he was never supposed to walk again. Here's his channel. The source is within you. It's the same quantum thing. And if you read more about him, Dr. Joe Dispenza is a New York Times best-selling author, okay? He's a published author on the New York Times best-selling, New York Times knows all about him. He's a lecturer, researcher, and corporate consultant whose research has led him develop practical formula to help people transform their lives. Dr. Joe's passion can be found at the intersection of the latest findings from the fields of neuroscience, epigenetics, and quantum physics to explore the science behind spontaneous remissions. He teaches people how to heal their bodies of health conditions, make significant changes to their lives, and evolve their consciousness. And this is one of the primary people. He's got 1.25 million subscribers. He's got just under 1,000 videos. And he's got online courses. He's selling books, people. He's selling books and courses. None of this is free. I mean, the YouTube stuff is free.
Right on the other side of your thought is your change. To change.
Look at this. This is no different than the big, giant cathedrals with the born-again preacher who's got their book in their hand and they're like, and you just believe in Jesus and you can walk again. Can you say, baby? And this is no different. And this is allegedly from May of 24.
Change is to be greater than your body, to be greater than your environment, and to be greater than time. When you do that, your biology changes in the most wonderful ways.
This is the Progressive Retreat in Barcelona, Spain. Now, I don't know about you. I don't have the cash to go to Barcelona to see Dr. Joe Dispenza talk. I just don't. We just don't have the kind of cash. I'm not going to go to Barcelona to see this guy talk.
And the moment you feel...
What this guy is doing, he's preying upon people's desperation, their fears, and their anxieties. He's trying to give them hope, but he's making tons of money off of this. Now, look, this is Dr. Joe Dispenza. Let's see what his net worth. Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's 61 years old. He's just a couple of years older than me. He's estimated to be worth $5 million. And this is from networthanalysis.com. $5 million. I can tell you that. He has cured himself of poverty by selling lots of books and lots of courses and selling people pipe dreams.
Unlimited, the moment you feel grateful, the moment you feel abundant from the experience, now you are teaching your body emotionally to understand what your mind has intellectually understood.
Look at this. It's no different than the born-again Christian things.
Well, God bless you. It's great to be with you today, and I hope you'll stay connected with us during the week. through our daily podcast, our YouTube channel, slowly and very clearly how to pronounce the name of this place. The young girl's eyes got real big. She leaned over the counter and said, Burger King. All right,
look at
y'all.
these people. Look at there are probably 20,000 people in this cathedral, or whatever you want to call it, his chapel. This is the same guy that when there was flooding in Texas, where he's located, I think it was Texas, he wouldn't allow anybody to go inside to stay to find sanctuary. He locked the doors and he kept the barricades so nobody could go inside. But he's all about helping people, right?
Say it like you mean it. This is my Bible. I am what it says I am. New passion, new opportunities, and new vision. You haven't seen the best version of you yet. It's still in front of you.
And if you just give me $500, I will show you the new version of you, the poorer you. Amen. Can I have an amen? Oingo, boingo. Guys make me want to puke.
But there is something you have to do. You can't sit on the sidelines feeling sorry for yourself, thinking you're washed up. Man, I've made so many mistakes, and why did these people do me wrong? As long as we have a defeated mentality, we're going to get stuck.
It's the same principle as all these other people. But he's pushing it through the Bible. The Bible does not teach any of this shit. And it doesn't talk about go out and spread my word across the country and make millions and millions and billions of dollars off of my name. He is taking advantage of the Lord and Savior that we all worship in this country to make himself wealthy. And that's why he pushes his channels at the beginning, Instagram and TikTok and Twitter and all that stuff, because he makes lots of money off of that through sponsorships and through monetization.
You have to get back in the game. Stir your faith up. Start believing again. Start dreaming again. Start hoping again. The book of Genesis, Adam and Eve were in the garden.
Look, follow on social media. Instagram, Facebook, and X. Stay encouraged through the week. The only reason he wants you to stay encouraged through the week is because he makes millions of dollars off of monetization. He's a very wealthy man. Let's look at Joe Osteen's net worth. Joe Osteen is worth $110 million, my friends. This man is worth $110 million in the name of Jesus. And my heart breaks at that. This man is taking advantage of the Bible. He's taking advantage of his worshipers. He's gouging them for money, selling them pipe dreams and false hope. The point is, there's lots of carnival barkers out there. There's lots of sideshow freaks that are trying to sell you magical thinking. They're trying to make you think that if you just change your thoughts, if you just change your mind, that you can change your life. And I can tell you from personal experience, I've tried all of this stuff. I've read all the books. I've read The Power of Now and all of these gurus. You know, I've read Wayne Dyer, and I've tried all these things. And a lot of it seems to be pushing towards detachment. This Zen type of mindset you get into where you kind of detach from the situation and you're no longer physically affected by it. It gives you some freedom to reframe your thoughts so you can get out of the situation you're in. But I can tell you this, if you're in an abusive marriage with a man or a woman and you fear for your life, no matter how much you pray for a change, no matter how much you change your thoughts, no matter how many times you watch Joe Osteen or Wayne Dyer or Joe Dispenza or any of these people, there's still a good chance you're going to get hurt, if not killed, in that marriage or in that relationship, and you need to get out. You need to get to safety. Changing your mind will not bring money into your life. Changing your mindset will not bring lots of friends into your life. Think about it, people. Just think about it. If you're not an outgoing person, I'm not an outgoing person. I'm not gregarious and charismatic. I'm different. You know, I'm not very gregarious and charismatic on here compared to like 90% of the other popular channels that are out there. I'm not that popular. So I'm not going to attract lots of people because people are so drawn to the gregarious, enigmatic, crazy, wonderful, well-spoken people. They're not drawn to wallflowers. So no matter how much I think, oh, geez, I'd love to have lots of friends, in my heart of hearts, I know I'm not going to draw those people because they don't want to be around somebody that's quiet and just wants to sit back and watch the world go by. So no matter how much I wish for it, it ain't going to happen, people. The world doesn't work that way. And let's just say, for instance, let's say Oingo Boingo and I, we sat down and we said, I'm going to win the lottery tonight. I'm going to win the lottery tonight. I know I'm going to win the lottery tonight. I'm going to go out and buy a lottery ticket. I know I'm going to win it. And then you win it. What happens if you win it? Do you know what to do? Well, let's say you won $5 million right now. And people are like, oh, hell yeah, I know what I do. I'll go out and buy this and I buy that. Do you hear what you're saying? You're going to buy this money and buy all this shit. You're going to go blow through the cash in a year like most people do and have nothing. Instead of investing it and investing it wisely and preparing for retirement and buying smart things, you're going to go out and blow it. Do you know how to handle $5 million? No. Do you know how to handle the taxes and the responsibility that comes with the money? No. If you go out and buy a large mansion, you go buy a 10,000-foot house, 10,000 square foot house, do you know how to take care of that house? Do you know all of the responsibility, financial responsibility and physical responsibility that comes along with that house? No. And if you bring these people into your life, let's say you somehow attract the love of your life, how are you going to handle the love of your life when he or she gets cancer, terminal cancer, and they're taken away from you? Or they get killed in a car crash? What are you going to do then? And I can tell you that right now. I love my wife, and she's sick and I'm sick. We're both sick right now. And it doesn't matter how much we think about it, doesn't matter how much we want to will it away with the magical powers of the universe, quantum physics, it ain't going to go away. MS doesn't go away through magical thinking. My issues with my man gland are part of getting older for a lot of men, and it ain't going away. And I've talked to lots of guys, and I've been on lots of forums, and it doesn't change. No matter how much I want it to, no much I want to click my heels together and say there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Ladies and gentlemen, they're selling you pipe dreams. They're selling you snake oil. They're the old-fashioned carnival. It's all a show. And they're preying upon your fears, your insecurities, your anxieties, your abuse as a kid. They're making you think magically, and there's no such thing as magical thinking. I wish it were something different. But what it really comes down to is all we have is each other. That's all we have. And for some reason, they don't want us to believe that relying upon each other is really the key to a happy, fulfilling life. They've divided our people. They've destroyed the American family, the foundation of our family. They're chiseling away, if not completely destroyed, our Christian faith. And they've wrecked everything that our country was founded off of that is positive. The nasty wasty bug hit, and now they want everybody to hide in their houses, in their little 15-minute cities, glued to their little glowing Christ they hold in their hand. Oh my God, my iPhone. My iPhone says I can do anything if I think positive. Is that right, Papa? Papa, Papa's dead. Oh, I'll just go back to my phone and look, what do I do with a dead body? Well, it's going to get bloated and the gases are going to make it explode. Well, I guess I'll play more video games. That's what everybody's become. They don't care about their families. They don't care about their parents. They don't care about their brothers and their sisters. They don't care at all in any way, shape, or form. But I can tell you what, if people were just kinder to each other, it would be a much better place and an easier place. What if somebody who needed a job and we've told, my wife and I have told all kinds of people we need a job. A few people here in our neighborhood try to help us, and a couple of my wife's former employees helped her get a work. But the people in our families were like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, that's too bad you don't have a job. Yeah, well, that's tough luck, isn't it? But strangers, complete strangers, crawled out of the woodwork to help my wife. All we have is each other. That's all we got, people. It's not magical formulas, magical recipes to lift us out of the depression. There's not a pill, there's not a drink, there's not a porno movie, there's not a cigarette that's going to lift you out of it. Well, I'm PTPOP, and this is Oingo Boingo. Special guest, Sven and I need to mind meld like Spock. Oh. I've quantum leaped. I've become a distant version of myself.
Would you like fries with that? Would you like fries with that?